Hey everybody. I just finished another book in the Give Yourself Goosebumps series. This is The Deadly Experiments of Dr. Eek. This is considered by many to be the worst book in the Give Yourself Goosebumps series, and I can actually see why. It's the plot structure is very bad. We don't learn anything about Dr. Eek. The book focuses more on funny than scary. I don't think there's like one or two scary endings that I would consider scary. Um, but I'm gonna say this, and I guess this is kind of a hot take. I actually had fun with this book. This book was actually not boring. It was actually pretty fun. It was just a bad book. So it's kind of a weird bad book because it's an entertaining bad book, if that makes any sense. The story is essentially about you and your friend Sam. You guys are going to go see your mom. Y'all are going to a movie after she gets done with work. She just started working at this place called Eek Labs. And when you get there, you can either go look for your mom or sit in the waiting room. And I don't remember exactly how you get to each storyline because this Give Yourself Goosebumps book isn't really like one of those where it like branches off into one storyline. It's mainly got like 4 storylines, and 3 of them are very short, and one of them is actually like well thought out. So I'm gonna try to go in the order that I went with. The first storyline was essentially you run into Dr. Eek, who is described as this guy with like half of his face like drooping over and like staples in his face, or it looks like it's been stapled up. We don't learn anything about that, so it's not really important. Basically, he takes you to this lab where he works on this thing called the G substance, and it's basically monster blood. It tries to eat you, and you have to escape. That's literally that storyline. There's not much to it. The next storyline is I think I did the virtual reality storyline, which was pretty good, but it was, again, very short. Dr. Eek straps you to these chairs, and he sends you to this tropical island. The last book I read had a tropical island. It's written pretty decent. And you run into these giant Komodo dragons, giant boa constrictors, and there's something else. Oh, a giant squid, or octopus, sorry. So, and then that storyline. That's literally it. And the third storyline was the chimpanzee storyline that I went through that was actually pretty funny, and I really can't spoil much about it because it'll give everything away. Basically, you run into these chimpanzees. One's named Oscar, who I assumed was on this front cover, but that's not Oscar, I don't think. And you actually run into this other doctor named Dr. Zyork or something like that. It's like Zyork. It's something like that. And this is where I wanted to talk about the cover. The cover's pretty decent. I looked up the Goosebumps wiki because I couldn't remember that doctor's name, and it didn't tell me. But it did tell me that on the front cover of this book is a vampirilia, which is there's an ending dealing with a vampire bat mixed with a gorilla that basically annihilates you. So I didn't know that. To me, this looks like a regular chimpanzee because I think they have sharp teeth. But yeah, that storyline with the monkeys or the chimpanzees is very short too. It's pretty funny, and depending on which way you go, certain people are in charge and certain people aren't. And the last storyline, which was the most like actual storyline, is basically Dr. Eek sends you to this he sends you to this like canine maze, and you run away from dogs. It turns out that Dr. Eek has been working on these dogs, like dogs and humans, and doing something very macabre with them and very weird. You run into this kid that's half dog, half human, and different things like that. Yeah, this one was all right. I didn't like it at first, but it actually got a little bit better as I went further on into the book. I actually started enjoying it, especially like the dog stuff. I actually had a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, that's basically what this storyline is. Like, there's really not much to this book. None of the storylines are really well thought out, but they're entertaining enough to, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I had fun with this. Again, I don't recommend reading this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you'll have fun with this because you probably won't. It's very dumb. Going based on endings, my least favorite ending would have to be there's one where it's all a dream, and there's a Tarzan ending that I didn't like. The last book had a Peter Pan nod. This one had Tarzan. It was ridiculous. The best ending for me was the Electric Bill story ending. I really enjoyed that. And there's one where you actually get swapped bodies with Dr.Eek, and Dr.Eek gets in trouble for kidnapping, which you're Dr.Eek now, so you get put in jail for kidnapping, which is very dark and very, very messed up. Again, this book mainly focuses on laughs, not scares, and some of them actually hit. There's a scene where you have a phone and you call your mom, she doesn't answer, so you call the next person you want to talk to that you know their number by heart, and this is Dominic's. I was about to say Dominic Mysterio. Dominic's Pizza, and basically the pizza guy delivers a pizza, and he kind of saves the day, which is ridiculous. Again, this book ain't for everybody. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this book, because I know that there's people that just hate this book. I didn't hate it. I thought it was just silly, goofy, just mind-numbingly stupid, but like an entertaining, mind-numbingly stupid. Yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, it is what it is. This isn't one of the best, but it's definitely one of the more entertaining books. It's crazy because there's certain books that a lot of people love that I've already read. I actually like this more than that book. So yeah. But I'll admit that this isn't one of those books that you should go out there and read. So that should count as something. But yeah. I really enjoyed the Daily Experiments of Dr.Eek to a certain extent, I guess you could say. I didn't love it, but it was what it is. It was good for what it is, I guess. Oh, I should also mention there's a mention of a Goosebumps book in here from the original series, My Hairiest Adventure, and yeah, it says you're a Goosebumps expert if you get the question right, and I got it right the first time. So essentially, I'm a Goosebumps expert. One thing I want to point out too about this book, I'm not going to remember this book in like 2 weeks. I can tell you that now, because I literally almost went to the Goosebumps wiki to look up certain spots in this book because I couldn't remember. Like, for example, the monster blood slime stuff, I could not remember for the life of me what all happens in that storyline. And it turns out there's really nothing to it. The slime either eats you or you escape. I mean, there's nothing to it. The same way with the virtual reality, the same way with the chimpanzees. Those storylines are just short. There's nothing to them. I got like, the first time I opened this book and read it, I probably got like 5 endings just right off the bat. It was just that quick. There's a way to get a good ending with the chimpanzee storyline if you just ignore everything. And yeah, to me, I think that's kind of cheating, but but yeah. But anyway, this I give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought about this book. This is a book that I did not have a lot of plans on reading, like when I was a kid. Actually, if you look up here, it's got a 69-cent sticker. That's what I got it from Goodwill all those years ago. Yeah, I don't even know how many years ago I've had this book, but I've never even opened it. Like, I've never even looked at it. I read the back multiple times, never touched it. But I'm glad I did now. This was a fun buddy read. Yeah, so please let me know in the comments below what you thought about this book. Thank you. Bye-bye.